the show. I appreciate you tuning in for another brand new review. Don't forget, every Wednesday night from now until Halloween at 8:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, I'm gonna have a new set of spooky streaming suggestions for all of you to go and check out. I know we are deep in the Halloween season, and maybe you're looking for something to watch that you haven't checked out before, or you're looking for an old classic but you don't know where you can go check it out at. Well, that's where I got you handled here. Every Wednesday, come back in, and I got a new set of suggestions across all your favorite services. But don't forget, I'm also dropping countless reviews in the world of horror, whether it's TV shows, movies, games, books, whatever, throughout the week as well. You don't want to miss any of that, and the best way to stay on top of all that is to get subscribed to my Linktree. And you can do that by going to linktr.ee/tscarymovie. If you get subscribed to my Linktree, that's going to be access to the YouTube page for the video versions of the show, your favorite podcasting platforms for the audio-only versions of the show, to my Letterboxd page for written reviews and movie rankings through the year, to my TikTok page for my short horror content, including movie premieres and movie news, to my Twitch page for my horror gaming, including Phasmophobia and The Thing Remastered, and to my Fangoria shop page where you can enjoy my 20% discount off anything in the Fangoria shop, and that includes a yearly subscription to the physical magazine. Take advantage of this, folks. Hit that subscribe button, as the more followers I get, the more content I can put out for all of you. So what are we talking about here tonight, folks? I just got back from vacation and decided today was the day to go and do an awesome double feature, and I got a lot more than what I bargained for, folks. We are starting the holiday season off the right way, and I'm talking the Christmas holiday season with the first movie of the year, at least for me. Folks, tonight I am talking Terrifier 3. This is a film that I didn't know if I was honestly going to get a chance to get back around to, just because I've said it before, I don't do great with gore and huge amounts of blood and carnage these days, covering up a lot more. But you know what? I've heard a lot of amazing things about it and decided, you know what, that's the point of this show. I got to see everything that I can. And so I went and checked it out for all of you. So let's not waste any time. Let's jump right on into it. If you haven't seen the trailer for Terrifier 3 before, this picks up not too long after the events of Terrifier 2. Art the Clown is still alive and seeking to cause more carnage, but so is Sienna Shaw. And when the two end up on a collision course with each other again, Sienna will unlock more secrets of her past and seeks to find a permanent way to put an end to Art the Clown. And there it is, folks. That is Terrifier 3. Now, jumping right into the one thing that I know so many of y'all are concerned about, which is the blood, the gore, the carnage, the brutality. That's exactly where we're going to start so we can get that out of the way. I did feel, weirdly enough, that this took a step back from the highs that we got in Terrifier 2. You know, Terrifier 2 is most definitely in my top 10 most brutal, goriest films of all time that I've seen. I know a lot of you are going to be in the comment section talking about a Serbian film and Human Centipede and stuff like that. But again, out of the movies that I've seen, this is absolutely in the top 10, Terrifier 2. Art the Clown spares nobody, and he has no moral code. You know, with a lot of our favorite franchises, a lot of our favorite villains over the last few decades, a lot of times there's like a very much an unspoken code that they won't harm certain people or certain victims. They might not say it, but because we don't see that happening in their movies, we have to assume that's a code that they're following, that they would never stoop that low, whether they're human or not. Art doesn't give a fuck about that at all and is an equal opportunistic killer, and this film very much pushes that forward in ways that Terrifier 2 could not even imagine. But with that said, it kind of feels like writer-director Damien Leone decided that he wanted to focus a little bit more on the story, on the characters, and expanding a lot more the mythology of Art the Clown and the connection to Sienna, and I'm honestly happy about that, and we'll get to that for sure here. But folks, don't get me wrong on this one. This is still a very much bloody affair, and a lot of you are gonna have issues getting from the beginning to the very end of this. Starts out with a very gruesome Chris Jericho taking a fall here for sure. But again, though, it is a step back. So for those of y'all who said you cannot watch like Terrifier 2 again at that level, this does scale it back some. There is still plenty of blood. Folks still get it in ways that you could not even imagine. Art is mean as ever. And again, the victim choice here, there is no selection. Everybody gets some. But what kind of caught me off guard, and like it's one specific death that I'll kind of spoil here, is the fact that a couple people in the film got shot by Art, and that was it. And I was like, man, they got off scot-free, because anybody else in this film who gets killed by Art is getting killed in the worst way. So I thought that was kind of fun that two people got off and got to escape the carnage that's happening to everybody else. So the blood and gore, still absolutely there. But moving on to what I really feel is the juice, the meat and bones here of Terrifier 3 is Sienna Shaw's story. I've talked about in the past with certain franchises how I love when they can show the after effects of somebody living through a horror movie, living through one of the worst, if not the worst experience of their life, and what that would honestly do to them. I mentioned Julie James, Jennifer Love Hewitt's character in the I Know franchise, just because I thought that was a great way to do that, showing how broken she was from the first to the second film, and literally having to be forced into moving on with her life and doing something different, and still kind of dealing with a lot of those demons. And while that didn't jump all the way in, it was a really great depiction. And as we've gone forward in the years, that's been something that I feel that a lot of writers and directors have paid attention to and made sure to include if they're expanding on their franchise, because it is important. You can't just walk away in this day and age, and we know so much more about mental health, and feel that everything's, that's fine. Well, that guy tried to kill us a year ago, but you know what? We're okay over here now. Like, it doesn't really work like that. And the movie goes as far to even have multiple characters point out the fact that these situations that Sienna and Jonathan, her brother, went through, that these aren't things you just shrug off. They aren't things that you just forget, and they're going to leave you damaged in ways you can't even imagine and popping up in everyday life. And that's a running theme of this, is that we know Art the Clown is back from the beginning of the film, obviously. Like, it's immediate, so it's not a spoiler. But we know Art the Clown is back for sure. But Sienna and Jonathan don't necessarily know that, and they're spending a good chunk of the movie getting visions, getting scared, like not knowing what's actually real in front of them. And that is a great way to show the development of these characters, because Sienna, more than Jonathan, has had a really rough go in her life the last few years since the events of what happened with Art the Clown. And seeing that she is trying to move on, but she's still playing her life very cautious because she knows it's not over yet. I love that. And Damien Leone, fantastic job here. Lauren Levera does amazing in the role of Sienna. This is absolutely one of the best heroes that we've had in the horror space in quite a while. And, you know, I think it's very obvious that we'll get another Terrifier film, but I'd love to see her get some other big roles in the horror space as well too. And I don't want to typecast her to horror, of course, but she just does so well in the medium that I'd love to see how she does in yet another franchise. Maybe not another one that we know. Like, I don't know if I need to see her popping up like in Scream or anything like that, but I do know that I do need to see more of Lauren Levera on screen, because she is phenomenal and she is the heart and soul of this franchise. A lot of love goes into Art the Clown, and that's absolutely deserved. Art is a fantastic villain, but a lot of times your villain is only as great as your hero is only as great as your villain, and these two complement each other so well. And not to be outdone, Elliot Fulham, who plays her younger brother Jonathan Shaw in the film, is also dealing with these same demons as well, because Sienna had to take a certain approach to try to recover from what they went through in the previous film, and so did Jonathan. And while Sienna is still kind of living with a lot of that locked up inside and not really getting the same life experience that Jonathan is, Jonathan took the different approach and kind of sort of tried to move on with his life. And unfortunately, we're seeing that just as much as he keeps trying to move forward, he keeps getting pulled back in. It is fantastic character work here for both of these two, and I'm excited to see what we're going to get from them in the next film. Now, in regards to the story itself, I love the exposition and the expanding on the mythology of this franchise, because, you know, in the previous film, we got to see like the sword, and we heard a lot about Sienna and Jonathan's father, and there was a lot of hinting that their father very much knew about what was going on with Art the Clown and the mystical nature of it all and the way to stop him. And regardless of the way the Terrifier 2 ended, I think it's great that Leone decided that he needed to very much explore that space a little bit more. And Sienna and Jonathan's father is played by Jason Patric. And what kind of caught me off guard with that was, when I went to go and see Terrifier 3, There was absolutely a father and son combo, a row or two ahead of me seeing it. Son had to be like 8 or 9 max, honestly. And I started thinking back to some of the first horror films I saw at that age, and The Lost Boys was one of those first films. And I really think back to where when I saw that might have been considered like very, very much like violent, very, very brutal, very bloody by the standards at that time. And the fact that, you know, I see a father and son there, Jason Patrick is here, and then immediately goes to a scene to where Sienna and her extended relatives are sitting around the table eating Chinese food. There's a lot of Lost Boys flashbacks in there for sure. But again, I think that is one of the stronger things here in Terrifier 3 is that we do get a bit more of a focus on the mythology of where maybe Art the Clown is from, what's causing him to do what he's doing, and how Sienna ties into all of this as well. I would have liked a lot more, and I think that's the one thing that stops this film from really soaring to the heights that it really could have done, is that I think with just a little bit more mythology for a film this long, that would have held my interest with it just a bit more. It's not bad by any means at all, but that mythology we get, the backstory, the exposition on, you know, what it's going to take to stop Art and everything that builds that up is phenomenal, and I just wanted more of it, and I didn't feel like I got enough of that. Plenty in the blood and gore, but just not enough there in that backstory, and I was really, really hoping for more. And I have to imagine that maybe Damien Leone's keeping a lot of that close to his chest for the fourth film, and that's truly where things are going to get expanded upon, and that's very fair. I completely get that. You know, you can't spoil everything in a franchise. This obviously is going to get a fourth film. This is done phenomenal in theaters, folks. Absolutely phenomenal. So we can better believe we're going to get another film in this. It's also hilarious. You know, I didn't find myself laughing that much during Terrifier 2, and I think that's just because of the shock value of it, honestly. But there were some damn good jokes in this one for sure, and the expanded cast of Terrifier 3 definitely plays into that as well too. You know, Daniel Roebuck shows up and had me cracking up a scene with him and Clint Howard as a Santa that runs afoul of Art the Clown. Tom Savini has a cameo in this as well too, which again is right on the level for Tom Savini, and like whenever he pops up in like these really, really short roles. This was just so much fun, and I'm looking at the cast list, and I do see, because I thought one of the guys at the beginning, one of the guys who's trying to do the demolition of the house, looked like somebody I knew, and it's absolutely John Abrahams from Scary Movie. So good, so good. Happy that I recognize that one in there. Folks, honestly, here's the deal. If you know what the Terrifier franchise is, this is going to be more of the same of what you expect, but you get better story points out of it, which instantly elevates the material from the gore fest that was Terrifier 2, even if that is a good movie, which I do believe it is. But the downside is, for the 2-hour plus runtime that we get, the fact that not as much of that was dedicated to the mythology as I thought there could be, and we're left to hope that that means it'll be brought up in the fourth film, that's where the movie let me down a bit. Strong performances. David Howard Thornton, again, powerhouse as Art the Clown, but again, it's Lauren Levera who is the real star of this show. She is the lifeblood of this franchise, which is great because we learn a little bit more about Sienna Shaw in this, and I was about to say like the blood that she's spilling, you know, is weirdly enough it's like what's powering this franchise for sure. But I can't really spoil some things about that. Obviously, I don't want to do it. The movie literally just came out, folks. You owe it to yourself if you're a fan of this franchise to go and check this one out. But if you're not big on gore, if you're not big on guts and blood, this might be one that you're gonna have to wait to check out a little bit. I love it. My nephew even asked me about this one too, and I was trying to tell him, I was like, dude, we're on the same page with that. Isaiah, go check this one out, man. This one is honestly worth the watch for sure. So I want to know in the comments section, am I crazy, or did Terrifier 3 take a step back when it came to the blood and gore feature compared to Terrifier 2? Let me know for your chance to win an Abigail Funko Pop that I'm going to be drawing at the end of the month. And make sure to hit that subscribe button, folks, as the more subscribers I get, the more content I'm putting out for all of you. I appreciate y'all tuning in for another brand new review. Don't go anywhere because I got more great stuff coming up for you this week, folks. My name is T. We've been talking scary movies. Stay scared.
Boy here is a big fan of Fangoria. So, if you want to check out the world's best horror magazine that's out there. Get a chance to get yourself your own subscription, which I just got my first one back in 2022, and I don't regret it for a second. But if you want your own Fangoria subscription, or you like the Fangoria merchandise, then head over to the Fangoria shop and use my link if you want to save yourself some money, folks. That's an easy one to remember. Just go to shop.fangoria.com/AXDEW. Again, that's shop.fangoria.com/AXDEW, or use my specific code AXDEW at checkout. You can save 20% off your entire order, and that implies 2 subscription and one-time orders as well. You don't want to miss out, folks, because with the magnitude of horror movies we've had released in the last few years, and with what we have on the horizon, Fangoria is going to be your #1 source for all that great, juicy, bloody information in the world of horror. So again, head to shop.fangoria.com. Hey there, folks! Thanks for tuning in to Watch This Scary Movie. I appreciate you checking out another review or movie news, whether we're talking movies, TV shows, books, or games, whatever, it's all scary. Remember, you can check out new episodes every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on the YouTube page for video. That's youtube.com/C/Theron Reynolds Scary Movie. Again, youtube.com/C/Theron Reynolds Scary Movie. And you can check out the audio version on all your favorite podcasting platforms. Just search Watch the Scary Movie or TWASM. Don't forget, my name is T. We've been talking scary movies. Stay scared.